parked in front here, so I didn't have to listen to the screaming and yelling. As soon as I moved the truck, the kids were coming up. I'm like, guys, stop. They know they're not supposed to be over here. They've been told many times.
You might see a seemingly innocent grandma baking cookies and spreading warmth to the neighborhood kids. But behind this heartwarming facade, there lurks a dark secret that will leave you absolutely stunned.
Close the door. I have two cats inside. I want the cats to run out.
On June 2, 2023, a tragic confrontation in Ocala, Florida, brought about a heartbreaking outcome involving two women, Susan Lorincz, 58, and Ajike Owens, 35. Susan Lorincz was known in the neighborhood for her aggressive behavior and racism, often causing trouble and harassing those around her. She lived in a rental complex and had a long-standing issue with Ajike Owens' 4 children, who were between the ages of 4 and 12. The conflict between Susan and Ajike's family started over shared yard space. For more than 2 years, Susan frequently clashed with the children, constantly yelling at them for playing near her property and calling the police to complain about their presence. Her behavior made her increasingly unpopular among neighbors.
All the dogs always take the crap. There's poop on the sidewalk. There's all kinds of stuff. I said, can you please keep the dog over there? Stop. They know they're not supposed to be over here. They've been told many times. They've previously stole the no trespassing sign. And the kid tells me to shut up to my face. I said, don't be disrespectful to them.
They're harassing her, doing anything, they're playing. Literally, every time the police are over here because of this lady.
She'll be inside, they can be playing.
Yes, I would like to push charges. Okay. Because she doesn't need to hear.
By December 2022, Susan's hostility intensified. She had an altercation with a truck driver who lived nearby after demanding that he move his vehicle because it was near where the children played. When he refused, Susan began shouting and making threats, showing just how extreme her behavior had become. The situation escalated to a tragic climax on June 2nd. Susan's long-standing animosity and aggressive actions led to a horrific incident where she attacked Ajike Owens. The details of what happened next reveal the severity of Susan's hostility and the profound impact it had on Ajike's family. The incident not only highlighted Susan's troubling behavior, but also raised serious questions about how the legal system deals with such individuals.
Hi. She said she's an old white lady.
Yeah, do you have your trauma bag?
There is still someone with a gun.
She's inside.
Okay.
Where?
Bro, where? Ex-military. She's in the house, bro. That apartment. Right here. This first apartment. I need like a tour.
Baby, wake up. Baby, wake up.
That's it right there.
Wake up, wake up. Wake up, baby, wake up. Baby, wake up. Come on. Hey, baby, wake up.
We need to do CPR real quick.
Baby, wake up.
CPR.
Baby, wake up.
Let me see. Do we have any pulse?
Signal 35.
Do we have any pulse?
Elderly female barricaded in the house. Signal 0. Station 1033.
We got a pulse! We got pulse!
The altercation that set the tragedy in motion began when Ajike, frustrated by Susan's constant harassment, threw a no trespassing sign that Susan had placed. Although Ajike did not aim to hit Susan, the act was a symbol of her frustration with the ongoing abuse her children faced. Susan Lorincz had a history of targeting Ajike Owens' children, reporting them for trespassing even though they were playing in a common yard that she had no right to control. The landlord had previously clarified that the yard was for everyone's use, but Susan refused to accept this and took drastic measures to enforce her own rules. Feeling threatened, though it was largely unfounded, Susan had recently bought a Remington RM 380 handgun, convinced that the children posed a danger to her safety. On the evening of June 2, 2023, as 2 of Ajike's children, ages 10 and 12, played in the yard, Susan called 911 at 8:54 p.m. to report them again for trespassing. During or shortly after the call, Susan escalated the situation further by throwing rollerblades at the children, injuring one on the toe and hurling racial slurs.
She was trying to break down my door.
Okay, it was a female.
Yes. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my gun and I shot at the door. And I thought she was going to get me. Oh my God.
Okay, you say you shot at the door, Zach?
The children, distressed, ran to their mother. Ajike, furious at the attack, rushed to Susan's house, banging on the door and demanding an explanation. As the 911 call ended, Susan, prepared for confrontation, retrieved her handgun from a trash bin inside her home. At 9:01 p.m., she fired a single shot through the door, aiming high to avoid hitting vital areas. But the gunshot tragically ended Ajike's life.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Turn around! Turn around! Where's your gun at?
You got hands? You got hands?
You're going to be detained.
Is there anybody else in the house?
There's somebody else in the house. Can I just get my
No,
daughter?
no, not right now.
All right.
You're not under arrest. You're being detained.
Okay, I understand.
Come over here.
Oh, wait, can you close the door? I have two cats inside.
Hold
I don't
on.
want the cats to run out.
I need medics. Med bag. Get my med bag. Start giving first aid.
The police bag? Green shoulder bag. Here. Here.
Go assess the person down. Okay.
Deputies arrived at the scene around 9:08 p.m. and found Ajike with a gunshot wound to her chest. Despite efforts to save her, she was pronounced dead at 9:34 p.m. Susan was taken into custody, but a major concern loomed. Florida's Stand Your Ground law could potentially shield her from prosecution.
It's not a single. Okay. Good. I knew it. I knew when I seen them over here playing today. I said she was gonna act an ass.
We always
bro.
call the cops on this woman. They won't do nothing about her.
I seen the kids praying, bro. I knew it.
You guys are positive there was no exit wound?
I checked it. I didn't see anything.
In the bag for me.
Here. Here. Let me roll her over.
Yeah.
Yeah, check her back.
No. Any exit?
No.
No exit.
Oh, girl, drive a great truck.
Bro, this is fucking crazy.
All right. Oh, girl, drive a great truck. They got to run down the... Man, come on now, bro. For some kids, boy. For kids,
And you said there's no exit?
No, I didn't see one unless it's in another spot.
Damn, and the kids was over there.
The Stand Your Ground law permits individuals to use or threaten force if they believe it's necessary to defend themselves from imminent harm. Susan, aware of this legal loophole, might attempt to use it to defend her actions and avoid consequences.
20 to 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And then did she start yelling again first, or was there more banging?
It was banging, it was yelling. I thought she was just going to break down the door.
Okay.
So, I mean, my heart was pounding, and I was like, she's really going to kill me.
Okay,
That's
so
all I felt.
when she first came up and where were you when she started the beating?
I was
the
in the
very first
bathroom.
time? You were in the bathroom
Yeah.
when she started beating?
Yeah.
And did you come to the door?
Well, I was approaching the door, and then she started screaming, and I knew who it was.
Okay.
I said, that's it, I'm not opening this door.
Okay.
And because I figured if she came in, she would just absolutely, pound me into the ground.
All right, and then when it became silent, after that first round of a beating on your door, where were you at then? Did you go?
I think I went to wash my hands, honestly.
Okay.
Because I didn't know who was at the door, and I wanted to know, and then I was like,
Okay.
So I went back and washed my hands.
Okay. So that's during the time where it was kind of quiet, and
Yes.
you thought that maybe she went away. Okay. And when the banging and the yelling started again, Where were you at then?
I think I was in the kitchen.
Okay. All right, and then what happened?
And then she just kept banging and yelling, like, you need to leave, you're trespassing, get off my porch, you know, get out of here, you know, I'm not talking to you, leave.
Okay, who else was outside the door besides Ajike?
No idea.
You don't know?
The detective meticulously examined every detail of the fatal incident, probing Susan for any inconsistencies or overlooked facts. This wasn't just a routine interrogation. The detectives were determined to uncover the truth behind her self-defense claims. Susan, confident in her ability to manipulate the situation, was unaware that the detectives were already several steps ahead. During the questioning, the detective made a strategic move by asking a seemingly simple but strategically crafted question. This question was designed to catch Susan off guard and expose any cracks in her story. Susan, still believing she was in control, was unaware that this was the moment her carefully constructed narrative was on the verge of unraveling.
What made you shoot that spot on the door? It sounds like you had some experience with the gun, so bring me to that moment what happened.
I grabbed the gun, I was shaking like a leaf, and the more she pounded, the more she screamed. I was like, stop, 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 go away, move away. She wouldn't move away. Finally, I'm gonna kill you, and that was the last time, and I just fired the weapon.
Okay, was there a spot you picked or something like that?
I just kind of, there was the door, I knew she was at the door, shot the door.
So since the last time you and I talked, I went in the house, we, you know, did the stuff inside the house as far as photographing, looking at where everything is at related to where the door is. And you said you had shot from the kitchen, so when you come in, it's like a
table.
Kitchen table?
The table that's there, the two seats with the table.
Okay.
That's where I shot from.
That's where you shot from. Okay.
Susan found herself once again recounting the events of that fateful night to the detectives. This time, however, her narrative seemed carefully tailored to fit within the boundaries of Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which she hoped would work in her favor. As she detailed her account, Susan emphasized her fear and the perceived threat she believed she was facing, casting herself as a victim compelled to defend her safety. Her portrayal was deliberate, aimed at aligning her actions with the legal protections afforded by the law. The detectives, acutely aware of her intentions, listened with scrutiny, recognizing that her meticulously crafted story was an attempt to manipulate the legal system to her benefit.
We talked enough that I've come to a conclusion here. Are you the Susan that has done research on Stand Your Ground and has planned for this to happen? Was planning for this to happen? There's a spectrum here. Is this the Susan over here? And then there's also could be a Susan over here that was, I have a gun in the house, I'm scared, someone is knocking on the door, I'd like them to go away, I'm just gonna, I picked up the gun and I accidentally shot the gun. There's a Susan somewhere in the world like that. You've somehow found a spot in the middle where you're trying to explain this, but it doesn't actually make any sense. That within 2 minutes, because we know it's 2 minutes, within 2 minutes, this person came over and they were able to put down a series of statements, such as, and you said this, that they came right up to and they want to have a discussion with the way that you were treating their kids that day. You said that they were able to make that sentence. I want to talk to you about the kids. I'm banging on the door. I want to talk to you about the kids. They're making statements like that. We've interviewed other people that it was a very brief interaction, and then you shot them. Now, this wasn't a long siege. It wasn't a castle siege. It didn't last for 20, 30 minutes. It was 2 minutes. So you're trying to tell us that a reasonable person would shoot somebody for less than 2 minutes of making statements outside. That doesn't make any sense.
The detective decided it was time to confront Susan with the stark reality of her situation. They laid out the facts clearly. Susan, an aggressive neighbor, had taken a minor dispute and escalated it into a fatal confrontation. As the detective methodically presented this perspective, the discomfort on Susan's face became unmistakable. The weight of the situation was sinking in, and it was evident that the detective's words were beginning to crack the facade she had so carefully constructed.
Today, you really haven't, and I'm not judging you, you know, everybody processes things differently, so I understand that. But you haven't really seemed remorseful for today, at least, for what had happened.
Oh God. It just makes me sick. I don't know I can't take it back. It's transpired. It's in the past. I don't know what the hell to do. It's just probably me shutting down again.
Okay. Do you think that's a trauma response or something? I know you said you had gone through a lot of
Probably
flat
because
affect and things like that in the past.
I mean, it's a horrible situation. And inner conflict is horrible because, you know, it goes against my faith. I broke a commandment. I feel horrible for what I did.
Okay. So, looking back on it now, and do you think that she was actually going to get through that door? I mean, be honest with us, because
she was coming through the door. As God is my witness, I thought she was going to come through that door. I'm sorry. It's just.
The detective decided it was time to confront Susan with the stark reality of her situation. They laid out the facts clearly. Susan, an aggressive neighbor, had taken a minor dispute and escalated it into a fatal confrontation. As the detective methodically presented this perspective, the discomfort on Susan's face became unmistakable. The weight of the situation was sinking in, and it was evident that the detective's words were beginning to crack the facade she had so carefully constructed.
at this point, we've discussed it with the state, and they are on the same terms as far as charging you with manslaughter. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what to say. I was in fear for my life. I mean, honest to God, I just feared that she was going to come through that door. I'm sorry, that's how I felt. I can't change the way I felt. I mean, it was sheer terror on my part. I mean, honest to God, I was shaking.
So, one of the things I want to ask, because at the point where I did let you know and I informed you, what had ultimately happened to AJ after that shooting, that she had passed away, and obviously she has 4 kids, and I was observing the interviews that were conducted with them and the emotions that they were going through. And you shared some of those same emotions at points through the conversations that we had. And I just want to, obviously I can't let you talk to them or give a message to them and face to face. But I would it's up to you, if you would like to write them a letter or something to kind of, whatever's on your mind or in your heart.
You don't have to. We're just going to leave a notepad and a pen in the room. Obviously, we have some paperwork to do, so we're going to have to step out to do that, and obviously talk to our boss. We'll just I offer it to everybody that we can't let them talk to, so it's just something we do.
Understood.
So if you'd like to do that,
we're going to get that paperwork going, like you said.
But that's where the state's at right now.
Susan Lorincz was convicted of first-degree felony manslaughter with a firearm, a serious charge reflecting the gravity of her actions. Judge Robert Hodges decided she would remain in Marion County Jail without bond until her sentencing. Lawrence's reaction was notably indifferent, as she merely shrugged when led out of the courtroom by correctional officers. She now faces a potential sentence of up to 30 years in prison. What are your thoughts on the verdict? Share your opinions in the comments below.